We are live.
Good evening, everyone. We will call to order the Utility Safety and Environment Committee meeting. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the July 22nd, 2020 committee meeting minutes. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The next item on the agenda, and this is just a discussion tonight, because we need to get some things ironed out, is the matter of the
Madam Chair, thank you. Through the chair to members of the committee, obviously we are here tonight to talk about the lease with Horizon. Horizon has been a great partner with the city for the last many, many years. And we wanted to make sure that we continue that relationship, but we also want to make sure that we go through the right process. Just being here for under a year, I realize that there are some things that, as we work through government, sometimes things get lost and we keep doing it year after year. And sometimes new eyes take a chance to look at it and realize that maybe the process wasn't followed. And out of respect for City Council, we wanted to make sure we brought this through the correct process. With Horizon being there, not so much on a permanent basis, but more long-term than what we have for most of our rentals, we realized this was not really a rental. This is more of a lease program, and we wanted to make sure that it went through the proper protocols, and that's why it is in front of you tonight. I know some of the concerns of council in the past has been access to keys, insurance, and making sure there's staff on site. And I know that through communications with some of the city council members, and I'm sure some of the discussions that the mayor has had with Horizon, we want to make sure that access is given only by us, and making sure keys just aren't floating out there, and making sure that the right insurance is in place, which I do know from the previous leases or agreements in the past, there was insurance requirements that Horizon had agreed to. So I think a lot of the concern was adhered to, just not the right protocol. And we want to make sure that it's done in the correct way. That way no one's surprised or caught off guard, and trying to get council's feedback and input on the process.
Mr. Director Firestein, if I may correct you, this right here is the first time we being council, have seen anything from Horizon. We had no knowledge of this, that they were even using the facility in such a manner until recently. So that has to change. That cannot happen again.
And if I may, through the chair, I understand that, and that's why we are here. That's why we're here today. I wanted to make sure that I follow the process. Once I know what the rule is, I definitely want to follow it. You could ask anyone that knows me. I'm usually the party pooper, but rules are there for a reason, and I want to make sure they're followed.
Thank you. I think another item of concern, at least for me, is that we're handing out keys. I wasn't aware that they were going to have keys to our facilities. Director Firestein said they would. He just said that.
What I had meant was in years past, I believe that keys were handed out, and we are trying to clean that up and rein that in. And from here on out, keys will not be provided.
Thank you for that clarification. Yes. Thank you. Please continue if you like.
I mean, that's most of what I had to offer. Really, what I wanted to provide this opportunity was to gain input from council. I know through some conversations we've gotten some input, but I wanted to at least have the opportunity in a public setting to have that input heard and to determine the lease. That way we can try to get Horizon up and running at our rec centers, because they do serve a great population here of youth after school activities, and even with COVID, providing something like that to our youth would be very important, and they provide a great service, and I want to get that going as quickly as we can, but in respect to the rules. So thank you.
Are there any questions or comments for Director Firestein? Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. So we're doing a whole new contract. Is that clear?
Through the chair, that would be correct. I'm sure we're going to borrow a lot of what was in it before, just because it was standard language, but through some of the great work by the Elyria Law Department, we're going to make sure that it adheres to what is provided here tonight for the input.
Thank you. Any other questions and or comments? Mrs. Reardon, did you have anything, questions? I'm sorry, excuse me, anything? And we'd like to welcome Director Reardon back. We're very happy to have her back.
Thank you, through you, Chair. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I don't really have anything. I would be more than happy to answer any questions. Me and Derek did meet this afternoon, so he kind of, brought me up to speed as far as a lot of different conversations and stuff. So obviously I haven't been around through this whole process, but I'd be more than happy to answer, any questions as far as, what was done before or what may be, happening with this. But I would like to say to Horizon, Nicole, they're a great partner. We have been a partner, like he said, for many years. What has happened in the past, who gets the paper, what obviously was not done correctly. So I'd be more than happy to take any of the blame for that, but I think we're all learning this and we all need to know the proper channel. So definitely going forward, definitely working with Law Director Deary, we will make sure that that goes through the proper channels the first time. But Horizon is a great partner with the city and, like Director said, offers a great service to the community. So anything that I can do to support this or help this process, and obviously, we'll be working, hopefully, me and Nicole going forward with this and returning them to the facility, whichever facility at the proper time based on, what's going on with the projects and things. But more than happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Reardon? Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. So the Park Department will be an overseer over this.
Yes, from my understanding, we will be overseeing it as we have in the past and actually working with them when we're able to reestablish our programming, which went hand in hand with theirs.
Well, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair. So what I would suggest is that, just in speaking informally, before we went on the record with the council, or excuse me, committee chair, is that if you would give my department opportunity to sit down with Director Reardon so that we can pick her brain, so to speak, get some of the details, or the details, I should say, for the proposed contract, and then if she would need to then reach back out to Horizon for anything that she doesn't have answers for us, then she can do so. I don't anticipate that would take a great deal of time to get that turned around. What I do need to know from the committee is an official answer on when or what sort of time frame or sequence of events you would like to see as far as when this should go to full council for authorization of the contract. So if you would like to see everything up to the actual signed and executed contract, then in all likelihood that would not be ready to go for this coming meeting, but I would imagine it would be the meeting after next. So I just wanted to give you a little idea as far as time frames.
Mr. Serra?
Through you, Madam Chair, I guess to follow up to that, to Horizon, when would you be ready to go? What time frame do you guys usually start?
Would you please give your name and address for the record?
There it is. Thank you, Carrie. Nicole Belmore Pierce. I'm the Director of Community Services at Horizon Education Centers. My office is located at 233 Bond Street. Horizon typically begins providing services the same week that school starts. So we are behind where we should be in providing these services. We have a grant from the Department of Education, a 21st Century grant, to provide this after school programming. So we are in jeopardy of not meeting those grant requirements. So we could be ready to go tomorrow.
Ms. Belmore Pierce, what is your deadline for executing those grants?
October 15th. So we will be starting.
That is your deadline?
We will be starting programming Monday at our Cascade building temporarily.
in order to serve the community, because we know that students need services.
Okay. And we do apologize for the delay, but I hope that you understand that council was not part of this process. That's neither here nor there, but we are going to be part of it going forward. And so we have to make sure that all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But we will execute this as quickly as we can.
We understand that. And I know somebody had a question about insurance. To clarify, Horizon has full insurance for any site that we provide services at.
Okay.
And I believe we provided an insurance certificate to Derek.
Okay. Are there any questions for Ms. Belmore Pierce? Mrs. Davis?
Through you, Madam Chair. So since, I noticed before you was always at East Rec, so you're gonna have to use, another facility that won't be a problem to go over to South Rec or?
Short-term, utilizing South Rec is fine for our programming.
Okay.
The reason that we want to use East Rec and why that is the preferred facility for us is that we serve students from Eastern Heights. And they can walk over to East Rec. Using South Rec long-term would provide a financial hardship to us because we will have to hire an additional bus driver to provide transportation for students, which obviously will also then cost additional fuel, additional maintenance on our vehicle that we use for Southside Pride.
Mrs. Reardon, if I may ask, what are we doing at East Rec and when will it be done?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, I met with the contractor yesterday. It's a little bit of everything. Flooring in the offices, flooring in the kitchen, flooring in the meeting room that they utilize, some updates to the bathroom. The gym floor is getting sanded down, redone. The basketball hoops are getting swapped out. So, but we have voting in there, so they have to be done by voting day.
Okay.
So what we've determined that we can do is they will be done by voting day. They're not going to touch the bathrooms before that. But after that, they're going to work on one bathroom at a time so we can use the other bathroom as a unisex. So Horizon, or if we start to do our own programming, can then utilize the center with a few of the other office things not quite done yet, but they don't use the offices. They're in the gym, the kitchen, and the meeting room. So really, November 4th could be, you know, that has nothing to do with the agreement, you know, when that's done. But as far as the building itself, they could use it November 4th.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for Ms. Belmore Pierce or for Carrie? Okay, thank you, guys. Yes,
Can
go
I
right
just
ahead.
add one thing? And I don't know, and again, because I'm just coming in the process now, I want to make sure everything's covered also, but I do know, and Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are certain things that have to go into this agreement based on their grant thing. So I just want to make sure we can communicate with them to make sure that everything is in there that needs to be also for their documentation.
Yeah, Director Reardon, Carrie, what I would suggest is, I don't know, I'm sure your schedule is a little on the packed side, but, you know, I can make room in my schedule for sure, and as soon as you are available, you know, we can sit down and we can, you know, go through some things. And I'm guessing you probably know what those things are that have to be in there as far as to satisfy Horizon's grant. And, you know, then we can talk about those types of things. I mean, at some point, you know, either, you know, tomorrow or the next day.
No, absolutely, and I'm pretty free tomorrow as far as nothing's set. So I'll touch base with you in the morning, and then I'll make sure I'm in contact with Nicole, so that way we can try to make this go as smoothly and quickly as possible for them.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
Sounds good.
But one thing I would ask, and I think the committee will agree with me, is that this committee be part of the contract. We want to see the contract before it goes to full council.
Yeah, so what I would suggest, and I just want to make sure that I understand correctly, is that, I mean, obviously, nothing will be signed, and honestly, the way the charter itself works is that the mayor can't sign anything until the ordinance would be passed anyway. So what you would basically have is a proposal, if you will. It'll be almost like a final draft contract that we'll put together.
Is there anything else that we need to discuss? Any questions? Mr. Osborne? Oswald, nothing? Absolutely, absolutely. Mrs. Deary has suggested that we do a committee report, which will allow the law director's office to move forward with putting the contract together. Is that okay with everyone? I think it's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I do have said committee report. Before I read it, any other questions, comments, questions, Mr. Firestein? Nothing? Awesome. Mr. Sarah?
Through you, Madam Chair, do you think we'll be having a utilities meeting next Wednesday then, do this?
I'm okay with that if the law department's office can get that done by next Wednesday.
I mean, depending on, I'm sure Serena can hear me.
You communicate,
Does the committee want to see the contract again, or just full?
no, the committee wants to see the contract again.
Then, I mean, we'll do our best. Yes, we'll do our best.
Okay.
So a lot of it will depend on obviously how much back and forth, but I don't
Okay.
anticipate anything.
Okay, so we can tentatively set a committee meeting for Wednesday, October 21st at 6 o'clock to go over said contract? And that gives you a week, so hopefully, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Anything else? Seeing nothing, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a contract agreement with Horizon for the lease with the city for their after-school program. And this is an ordinance. I don't like the way that reads.
That's another ordinance.
Okay,
I'm gonna say,
okay, scratch that, okay. Never mind, okay. So, we'll do this next week, or the next meeting. And she'll let you know the language of it, okay?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure how to word it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's keeping it in the committee for right now, so.
Yep, we're all good? Okay, there's nothing else to come before this committee. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
so move, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.